Okay. Will you guys let me know if this is working? I am not used to doing lives, so it definitely feels a little bit strange. Um, so if you guys can hear me, if you could let me know in the chat, I would really appreciate it. But today we're going to be covering the Sagittarius New Moon, in particular for all of the rising and sun signs. So again, I'm not super familiar with live, so hopefully, okay, yay, everything's going okay. I appreciate your comments, Nick529. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to be talking about Aries. So Aries, for you guys, the Sagittarius New Moon that's happening on December 20th is taking place in your ninth house. So whenever we see a new moon in the ninth house, I think about something related to expanding your horizons. The ninth house is traditionally associated with foreign travel, foreign affairs. It can also be associated with learning something new. And there's a general sense of optimism that comes with the ninth house new moon, where you might have some kind of new beginning that instills a greater belief in yourself. But this new moon is also squaring Saturn and Neptune in the 12th. So there's something here about Saturn and Neptune that can be a little bit more depressing sometimes. Saturn and Neptune has often a grief associated with it, with both of these planets. So we might be grieving something from the past with this square to Saturn Neptune, or what once was or what could have been is often an experience. And I see this because I was pulling the cards yesterday for this group and the recording just kept messing up. And one of the messages that kept coming through was feeling like maybe you had sacrificed a lot in your life for some kind of goal or for some higher intention, and then wondering, kind of grieving that sacrifice, wondering what was lost by deciding to, I guess, not focus on something that, yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted by the element of this being live. This is strange. But I'd be curious, the people who are in the chat, what are your sun and rising sign? Because maybe we could focus. We could even go out of order. It doesn't really matter. So let me just pull a few cards for my Aries. So what is the thing that they might be grieving? Oh, you're Aries. Okay, that's perfect. I'm curious if any of this resonates so far. Okay, so we have the Fool card. So yeah, this is definitely representing you guys having some kind of fresh start in your life. But usually the fresh start means that we are leaving something else behind, right? This person goes in with only one little bag and on their back. So they are transitioning away from something. They are leaving maybe all of their stuff in their home behind. So yeah, I don't know. There's something about this. So what is my Aries potentially grieving at this new moon? And then what are they creating as a result of that? So what are they potentially grieving? And I don't know if that word's going to really apply to everyone, because I think this is also a really inspiring time. But what are they potentially grieving? The Tower. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something that I think you guys are leaving in the past again, or demolishing in your life to start something fresh. And in that process, it could feel a lot of feelings could come up. So Snake, I'm curious if you are going through some kind of ending where you're deciding to abandon ship or leave something behind in some capacity in order to have a fresh start. And this can also be something more metaphorical, like where you once saw something in a certain way and then now you're blowing up those old perspectives or those old beliefs. So what is the thing that you are creating now in its place? I will say Aries rising, we got the Temperance. Aries rising, you guys have Mars in Capricorn right now, and that's your planetary ruler. Mars is exalted in Capricorn in your 10th. So I see you guys very focused on like what is next, what is my maybe next in my career, or like some type of goals that you're having. This is a very constructive time. Saturn squaring the sun can also make us like have a greater practical sense of like, okay, here's what I need to do to accomplish this certain goal. So yeah, there can be definitely a like a putting your getting your ducks in a row, like putting yourself to the pavement. I never say I never say anything right. Okay. You Snake says, I'm wrestling with toxic relationships at work that mix with past experiences. Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. So that makes sense with this Mars in the 10th, why there's a work focus in particular. And relationships are somewhat challenging at this new moon because Venus is almost in an exact square with Saturn. So there is this feeling of maybe having to, yeah, just like feeling maybe a little bit more like we're not always getting our needs met from other people, or feeling really included, or feeling like we're compatible or understood. Or there could, when there's Venus squaring Saturn, or we could even feel like there's some kind of block in relationships. So but again, I think it's like bringing up stuff from the past in order to have some kind of fresh start where it's like, okay, well, that ship is burning, so I'm going to go to this new place. Hi, Layla. Oh, I'm so excited to see you here. So, yeah, for the new beginning for Aries, there is something here in regards to healing with the Temperance card, in regards to finding greater balance. Um, and so you guys might find I'm feeling that too. Okay. Janetta, I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to though. Um, Hi, I'm so excited that you guys are here. There's like a crown with a number next to your name. I don't know what that means. You guys, I'm so clueless. Okay. So, yeah, I feel like for my Aries, there's something that's meant you're meant to have like a measured approach right now. With Mars in Capricorn, again, this is an exalted, a very constructive Mars. I almost feel like the energy right now is meant to be channeled. So if you're going through something, or if you're like burning away old old emotions, old patterns, like, and you have a big feelings come up, or you have a lot of energy around it, you're thinking about it a lot. It's like, how can we channel this into something more constructive or productive, or yeah, like measured in some sense. It feels like almost like a containment. So it's like, okay, I'm going through all of this. Let's say in your case, Nick, there's some weird stuff going on in relationships at work. It's like, okay, this is kind of throwing me off, but how do I then take this and channel it into what I do want to create, into being maybe really productive at work, or rising above something? And something I mentioned in the overview was like holding two truths. So we might have to recognize that like the present that we are in is uncomfortable, but there is something that we see for ourselves in the future that we know we're moving towards, even if it's not here right now. The Three of Swords in reverse. So yeah, I definitely feel like Aries, a lot of this is healing. And again, I think this could be stuff coming up from the past. So it's like maybe these relationships or these conflicts are bringing up previous things that have happened, or yeah, just like things that have been relegated to the subconscious, because that's this new moon square Saturn Neptune in the 12th, which is the house of the subconscious. So there could be things that have happened long past, and it's like bringing up that old residue. Hello. Welcome, Farnadela. So much distractions going on these days. Yeah, absolutely. So much vying for our attention. But I think, again, one of the strongest things for you guys to do is to get really clear on where you're going. A Sagittarius new moon is the archer, right? It has a specific vision for its life. And I think that that's something that could be really constructive coming out of this, of like, okay, I'm not going to get pulled in different directions. I'm going to come back to myself. I'm going to balance, and I'm going to think about what it is that I want to put my energy into for this next cycle. And it might take some time to unfold. So any advice or like last messages for Aries? So we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, let me pull another card to go along with this. But the Four of Pentacles, when it's upright, deals with like saving money and holding back almost. It deals with the act of preservation, either emotionally of yourself or just like in a situation, kind of like taking the more conservative approach. But in reverse, I'm curious if that's let me just pull another card. We have birds. Yeah, okay, this makes a lot of sense. So to me, these birds are speaking about people maybe gossiping, people who are fighting with one another, like lower baser energy of negative social dynamics. And I feel like for my Aries with the Four of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like part of this is saying to not get involved too much in this. But it may be constructive in some ways to like express how you feel about something vulnerably, but not in not in a way of like yeah, I don't know. The Four of Pentacles, it's like let's just stay out of that mess. Yeah, it feels like don't get involved in the mess. Don't put yourself in that mess. Even if and you can come at this from a higher perspective of like if there's a situation going on that I'm going to share my feelings about this or I'm going to be vulnerable, but not participating in the lowly gossip or the yeah, the negative conflict and stuff like that. So rise above. I feel like that's the biggest thing here is like rising above something, having greater perspective in something, focusing on your goals more in something. If there's conflict or, you know, stuff coming up from the past, I think with this Tower card, it's like, let's allow that to like implode on its own. If there's issues with other people or if there's things that are outside of your control, oftentimes placements like the Saturn, Neptune, the 12th will indicate situations and things that are outside of your control. So there might be things that are pushing you to a new beginning or some kind of pivot in your life, but it's coming from a situation that's out of your hands. So allow it to happen, I guess, like allow yourself to embrace something new if you feel inspired about it as a result of this tension going on right now. So, but I love the gossip. That's hilarious. Do you feel good after the gossip though? That's my question. Because sometimes I mean, this is something that I struggle with is like, well, it feels good to do something and then it's only temporary. And then the next day you're like, oh, was that in integrity with me? And I'm 51 and still not mature. I think we're all immature in certain ways. And I think that's mature to be able to, good morning, to be able to say, like, see yourself clearly. Okay, so now we're moving on to Taurus. Unless Aries, did you have any questions before we move on to Taurus? Because I can pull a couple cards. If Aries has any questions, I can pull an advice card or something. Otherwise, I'll move on to Taurus. I'll just give you guys another second. Okay, so what's the solution to wait? So the solution is to put your energy into your future and stay out of the drama. So basically, I think that it's more so about trying to be patient and sidestep, almost like allowing other people to squabble, even if they're trying to pull you in. You know, the best way is to not invest into that. Energetically, emotionally, like keeping your eyes kind of forward on what is constructive and what is next in my life. I think that's the biggest thing for you guys right now, and also to be optimistic. So I do have my astrology readings on pause, but if you email me, we can chat about it. Because I'm currently abroad, but I'm going to be home for the holidays and open up my readings, I think. So how to be patient, girl, That's a great question. I think in response to the how to be patient with the Two of Wands, and this kind of piggybacks on what I was just saying, is to have your plan or your sights set on something that feels really significant to you, that feels really meaningful. At the end of the day, that's what Sag is all about. It's about having something that is driving you forward, that is beyond you, that is maybe connected to like a larger spiritual or soul purpose. So if you are working towards something significant and emotionally fulfilling for you, it is easier to be patient in the process because you enjoy it. And so putting your energy there is going to help you not invest in like the little squabbles and momentary gossips, which feels very Gemini, the opposite of Sag, at this time. So we're really trying to invest in this longer, this like wider scope of having more perspective, being more tuned into our wisdom as well. So it's like, is this serving my larger purpose? Very Jupiterian in its nature. And Jupiter is in Cancer. So it's like focused on the emotions of things. So am I being in my emotional integrity? Am I obsessing emotionally about something? Am I letting people sway me emotionally in ways that don't matter? Am I getting rage baited online? Like there's a lot of ways that we can check in with our emotional integrity as well. But anyway, okay, let's move on to Taurus. So somebody here said that they're a Taurus. Wait, who said that? Okay. Yeah. Faranidilla. Okay, I'm so sorry. You said that you're Taurus rising, Taurus moon. Okay. So for you guys, this Sagittarius new moon is in your 8th house. So Faranidilla. I'm curious if stuff has been coming up in regards to relationships, because I think for a lot of people, relationship stuff is going to come up with Venus squaring Saturn and Neptune. But especially for you guys, because this new moon is happening in the 8th, which is also a very emotional house, and then it's squaring Saturn, Neptune in the 11th. So a lot of like fears tend to come up when we have 8th house activations. But there's something here with this Queen of Wands. I feel like you guys, I think part of this new moon is meant to help you embrace more of your own, like, like being full of yourself, like not in a, I don't know. I'm going to leave. It's also about banking and money. Yeah. The 8th house is definitely about money too. But the Queen of Wands to me is somebody who's like really in their, like owning their power and owning their, and not letting other people like push their boundaries, I guess. Like they like, especially in terms of their sense of self. Okay, so what is it that Taurus might be struggling with at this time? So we have the Page of Cups, which is a very that's a very like relationship oriented card. The Page of Cups is often someone coming to you with like an offer of love that could be representative of that. So if maybe some people might have someone coming to them, but I don't know. I think that this is probably more so about like emotional regulation, which is kind of similar to Aries, but not quite. So what is it that Taurus is needing to, like, what is it that they might be grieving or going through right now with this Saturn square Neptune? The Knight of Cups. Okay, what is going on? This is a lot of like offers of love. So there's something coming here around that. I mean, it might not be relevant for everybody, but if you guys have quite a predominant Taurus, even I have Venus in Taurus and I'm kind of going through something like this. But yeah, the Page of Cups, Knight of Cups is usually representing like, what are people coming at me with energetically in relationships? And this could be any kind of relationship. Like, are they coming at me with the energy of like, yeah, I don't know. I wonder if people are disappointing you in some way at certain times, and then kind of undermines your confidence. Like like people showing up in a way that might not be, I don't know, let's see. The anchor. Yeah, the anchor represents something that's like holding you down or tying you down to a place. And it could feel stabilizing, but it could also feel heavy. So if you're saying that your parents are 84 and your sister is sick, I almost wonder if there's something here in regards to um like other people and the way that they're showing up or what's going on in their lives representing something that might feel like it's holding you in a place like, oh, I have to stay here to like be with this person and help them. The anchor again could also represent stability. So if somebody is having somebody new come to them in love, this could also represent like not being certain about them, but then and maybe having certain fears, but the anchor could represent something quite stable. Like something is staying here for a while. So there's something about stability in relationships and like staying in one place and yes. Okay. I mean, I feel like this is a pretty significant new moon for you guys because your planetary ruler, Venus, is really closely conjunct this new moon. Good morning. So there might be some kind of feeling that you are at some type of turning point in your life, and it's going to affect the future because Venus squaring Saturn, there's this element of like things taking a while to unfold, but they have this energy of longevity. So even if it takes a while to unfold, it remains for a while as well. So there might be something around this juncture where you have to maybe make a decision or shift your viewpoint, or you have to commit to something, or you have to stabilize something or help someone in some way, in your case, Farnadilla. And it might, again, it has this like staying power with the anchor card. So this situation that's arising right now, or the things that are going on right now, are things that might take some time to really unfold, or again, they have this permanence to them. So but I'm asking about like this doesn't seem like grieving, so I don't really know how that's answering that question. But what is the like kind of creative solution or the new beginning for my Taurus? What is the like creative solution or new beginning for my Taurus? So we have the Star card. Okay, I feel like this new moon is about healing for probably all of us because the ruler of this new moon, Jupiter, is in Cancer and squaring Chiron. So there might be a lot coming up around healing, especially in the mind, because for you, Jupiter and Cancer is in your third house of the mind, but it's also communication. So you might in some ways like need to learn how to express your emotions differently, and there might need to be some healing around like how you share your burdens with people or how you open up emotionally with people. Yeah, with the Star card, this is definitely a card of like healing and optimism and faith. So it's like there's something that might either feel heavy or that has a level of permanence or longevity to it right now. And you need to have faith around the situation, or like release your emotional burden in the situation and express that to like people who you can rely on. We also have the Devil and the Justice card. Interesting. So these are both like karmic cards because the Devil has this Capricorn energy, and Libra, or the Justice card, Saturn is exalted in Libra. So there's this same harmony between these planets of like karma will come back around, or people will get like what they deserve, or you will get what you deserve. So I feel like there's this message here that something longer is happening, and to remain hopeful because things will, like, the karma will take care of itself for all parties involved, including you. And there will be a sense of justice in the situation. So I don't know what that is going to look like exactly. But if you're dealing with like another individual, this is saying like if you've been really, really good to people and people have been shitty to you in the past and that's kind of stayed with you emotionally, this is saying that you're going to maybe get a different karma where you're going to find somebody who matches you and who treats you better. Or if this is like, I have showed up in a certain way and have been really consistent and reliable for people and have done a lot for them. This is saying that the karma will come back to you in some form or another, and that the situation will play out in a balanced and fair way, even if it has been imbalanced previously, or if it at some point takes a lot from you and is thrown off, maybe even right now, or requires a lot of you right now. In the future, it will pay dividends. So there's something here around things like being fair. So for example, if you had to take off of work to like help your sick sister or your parents, this was saying like maybe they would leave you money in their will, or there would be some kind of retribution or some kind of karmic like positive effect as a result of you showing up for somebody else. So I think it's about like really staying like believing that the universe has your back is going to be really big with this star card, having hope and faith. And this could be some kind of financial karma as well. So any advice for Taurus right now? Any advice for Taurus? So we have the 3 of Pentacles. So you're not an island. Part of your advice is to lean on other people or to collaborate and work with other people. If something requires a lot of you, or if you have big goals or lofty ambitions, this is saying that you are better in group or in a group setting or in company of others or in a relationship. It's like, how can you collaborate? How can you create more of this we mentality? So I don't know. I'm getting this Saturn Neptune the 11th as more of this, like maybe past dynamics with people have been a little bit wonky, but I think you're being called into maybe more commitment in certain relationships. And it might push you to go outside of your comfort zone a little bit and rely or work more heavily with people than you have in the past. Because maybe you've been more of an island in the past. And I think it's really saying to like have this healthy co-reliance, which is really normal for an 8th house new moon, because the 8th house is about where we share our resources, where we share our wisdom together, our bodies together, our experiences together, and we're stronger as a result of it. So there's something here where it's like, yeah, I think you're meant to be with others. Okay, she who avenges, revenge, outcome, and justice. Oh my God, this is exactly what I was saying. There is going to be some kind of like justice in a situation. And if somebody has wronged you, I really don't like to be those like fear mongering, like I don't want to be a fear mongering reader who's like, they're gonna get their just dues. But there's something with this where they might actually come up on their karma on their own. So sometimes 8th house can bring up those feelings of like, I want vengeance. Like that's a very scorpionic 8th house experience. If you ever have that, maybe you don't have Scorpio in your chart, so maybe you don't. But if you ever have that like feeling, trust that the universe will work things out for you. You don't need to take anything into your own hands. I really am getting this sense of like karma and justice coming around full circle. Thank you so much. Karma never loses an address. Layla, that's beautiful. Yeah. I'm curious, Layla, what's coming up for you in regards to this? Because I know you said you have Taurus moon. So if you want to share, you don't have to. But if you want to share your experience, I would love to hear about it. And in the meantime, we'll move on to Gemini. So let me know what you guys think about lives. I've never I have gone live in the past, but it would be really cool, honestly, if I could see you guys. I mean, maybe you wouldn't like that, but it would be super, super cool for more like a Zoom video. I'm here just listening to the background supporting. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to Gemini. I'm a Gemini sun, in case you guys didn't know. So this is like somewhat relevant for me, though the rising sign is going to be the most relevant. So for you, Gemini, there is a new moon in the 7th house. I guess that does make sense. So it's relationships have been on my mind. Gemini rising, you're a snake. Okay. And then my partner has all 5 personal planets in Gemini. It's wild. Oh, wow. That's very Gemini. It's probably not a surprise that you found this channel then, since maybe you attract Geminis. Or maybe you have, if you're Sag rising, you'd have Gemini in your relationship house. Okay, so Geminis, a Sag new moon in the 7th house. This is obviously going to bring new beginnings in either relationships, contracts, and just having things maybe even happen to other people in your life. Sometimes we will have things in our chart or in transits that are literally speaking to like our loved ones and not even us. So sometimes astrology can get a little bit complicated like that. But what is this new moon bringing up for my Geminis? What is the challenge here with the Saturn Neptune that they are needing to confront? So, okay, we have the Wheel of Fortune and the World card. Oh, that's so weird because I was just thinking of this World card. Yeah, so to me, there is some type of change in a pattern going on, like an end of a cycle is approaching for my Gemini risings. And that makes a lot of sense to me because in the next couple of months, we're going to have, I wish I remembered when it was. I need to look at my notes, but we're going to have Uranus moving back into your sign for good. So right now it has dipped back into Taurus. Let me actually just pull up my astrology chart. But right now it has dipped back into Taurus. And so when it goes into Gemini, you're going to notice that things really accelerate for you, which it has been in Gemini previously, like over the summer. You might have felt like things really sped up over the summer. Okay, so let's see. Oh my gosh, guys. This is hard to do it all live because I'm like, okay, so Uranus will return to Gemini around May. So like April, May, you might notice that things really start to pick up pace. So a lot of what we're talking about today might start to fully kick in around then, which is crazy because I've been feeling very intuitively that April is going to be very significant, at least for me, but maybe for a lot of people, I don't know. And so you might find that you're kind of in this phase of closing out a cycle within relationships, or it doesn't even just have to be relationships, but it could be your commitments to people or to enterprises or even to goals because of this square to Saturn and Neptune in the 10th. But there's some energy, I think, that's trying to again wrap up in your life. Like there's a little bit of maybe some old residue that could come back up right now. And I have She Who Regrets, Battle, Victory, and Bitterness. Okay, I'm going to leave that there for now. I don't know what that's referring to. But yeah, I mean, maybe the battle, I guess, could be speaking about like, I don't know. I think that for me personally, this might not be true for other Geminis, but I feel like I've been kind of going through a lot in relationships these last few years, and it's felt like a very long war and, or battle. Win the battle, lose the war. Isn't that like a thing? Wait, no, it's the opposite. So you're not a Sag rising, you're Libra rising. That's still good because Gemini and Libra are both air signs, so they trine each other. So that's good compatibility. But yeah, I think that there's something here. I mean, this might resonate with you guys of like having a longer thing that you've been going through in regards to maybe your career and your relationships, and feeling like it has been a battle in some way, or an uphill battle. And I feel like you guys are closing out some kind of cycle in regards to that. And I think April and May in particular, you're going to notice that things speed up and really start to pivot and change, but you're getting like signs of this coming in now. So, if you notice, if you have this like intuition about something or someone, or if you're really inspired by something and you're like, I just feel like this could be significant. Um, or if it, yeah, I feel like you should really, really pay attention to that. And this could also really be speaking about like money and career, because the ruler of this new moon is Jupiter and it's in your second house. And this whole Sag new moon is squaring Saturn Neptune in your 10th house of career. So there's something here around like money and stability and career and your trajectory with something that is playing a really important role right now, and mingling with relationships or like commitment with people. So yeah, I feel like again, there's some kind of pattern or cycle that you're closing out that may have felt difficult in those areas, and you're waiting for the eclipses to shake things up. Absolutely. So, I mean, that might be also why, because I think we're having eclipses in February and March. So, I think it's going to, again, there's going to be a lot of like movement and shakeups. And then I think it's really going to hit the ground running once we get to like late April, early May. So, what is the new beginning? What's like the new cycle for my Geminis that's going to happen? What's the new beginning? The new cycle for Gemini. The Magician, the Four of Cups, and the Empress in reverse. Let me pull one more card. So the Magician is the card associated with Gemini. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Okay, sorry, I'm like talking to myself. I can tell you from his perspective as a super Gemini, it's been really difficult the last 3 months. Old patterns coming up, miscommunication with me, his career stressing him out, etc. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's because there is meant to be some major changes on the horizon for us Geminis, with Uranus moving into our sign and staying there for a long time. I think we are meant to be innovating, pivoting, embracing change and novelty, and thinking outside of the box. And I think if we get stuck or if we hold on, then it's going to cause a lot of stress. And so the more that we can get excited about what is new to come, I think is going to make things a lot easier. But the Sag new moon again is representing that like last remnants of an old cycle, while also glimpsing into the future of what can be. And I can see that with this north node, south node, or north south card and this heart card. It's saying crossroads in your heart. So again, I feel like there's something very emotionally moving, maybe a relationship, or again a career, a goal in your life, where we're at some kind of crossroads. And again, I feel like we're standing in the middle and we're seeing the old pattern, where we're the old cycle, and then the new path that we're going to go down. And we're kind of in this in between right now. So it can, like last night, for example, I sat down and wrote out like what I want my schedule to be like in this next year, because there are some goals that I have that I really want to obtain. And I feel like I haven't given it my all. So there's something here of like, I can see what needs to be done. I can see the future outcome, but I'm also in this old energy still. So I can see that for people where you might be at a crossroads in a relationship, in a career decision, or just feeling this pressure of like the old self versus the new self. And the new thing that's coming is the Magician, which is a card associated already with Gemini, because I think it's Mercury related. It feels like an in-between for you. Yeah. And I think that you will notice that things are decided by that like April, May time. So yeah, the Magician is going to speak to people who, like, the new beginning for Geminis are really about them embracing more of who they are. With this Uranus and Gemini energy, it's calling us towards an authenticity. So if there's ways in which you have not fully utilized all of your skills or all of your talents, or if Geminis have felt like they have been holding back in some way, or not doing something that's totally aligned with them, or they don't feel fulfilled by something in their life, then the new beginning is going to be about embracing and changing your life to align with those unique personal qualities. Instead of like trying to fit somewhere that you don't belong, in a relationship you don't belong, or trying to fit into a career you don't belong, or maybe it's just slight pivots. It doesn't even have to be like a huge overhaul, but there can be these pivots that really awaken more of one's natural talents and lean into that. And that's what I think Geminis are meant to be going through. The new beginning is also calling us to the Four of Cups upright and Empress in reverse. So I feel like this is saying, okay, so the Empress in reverse represents a situation, a relationship, or something in our lives that has felt like it doesn't, like we aren't receiving a lot from it. Like maybe we're not nourished from it. Maybe we're not paid a lot at our job. Maybe we feel like we, again, aren't living up to our full potential in some path that we're on. And it can represent something that like is there, but it doesn't fully provide. And so if there is a situation like that for my Geminis with the Four of Cups, I see that part of this is turning away from people, relationships, career opportunities, ideas, commitments that are offered to you, that like are maybe easily available, but that don't nourish you or that don't provide for you. So let me give you an example, personal example. I'm in school right now and there are a bunch of people in my cohort. What would be easiest with this Four of Cups is to just hang out with the people who are right there. Oh, well, I go to school with them. I see them every day. So like I'll just hang out with them. But that doesn't mean that they are going to be really aligned with my path. That doesn't mean that they're going to really nourish me emotionally. And so maybe just automatically slotting into these easy dynamics or these easy opportunities is not actually in my best interest in the long term. So something about this with my Geminis where I feel like it's about shaking up and pivoting your life and getting out of an old cycle. And part of that old cycle is going to be where you recognize where you've maybe been putting, like you're committing or putting effort or energy into something that doesn't actually have the nourishment, the longevity, the potential that you really want it to. And so there's this kind of crossroads right now where you might see that old pattern, but maybe you don't know like how to create the right thing for yourself in the future. So it's a little bit of about that balance right now where we might not quite be having this incredible breakthrough, but I think it's on the horizon. So we're on Gemini right now. So yeah, so that's what I see for you, Gemini. I really think it's going to be about trusting your instinct as well. Loads of confusion. I think, yeah, it's really normal to be confused because we know that there are things that are going to be thrown out or that are going to be changed, but sometimes it's hard to know what is replacing it and how that is all going to look or what exactly needs to be thrown out. And so a lot of questions can come up. I love that you combine astrology and tarot and take the time to. Oh, thank you so much, Pegs J. Thank you so much. Oh, you're a Scorpio. I do love my Scorpios. My brother has this huge stellium, which means bunch of planets in Scorpio. So I do love my Scorpios a lot. So, okay, let's go ahead and move on. Thank you so much. Oh, Maureen. Oh, it's so good to see you. I would love to hear how you're doing if you're the same Maureen that's gotten a reading from me in the past. Okay, so let's move on to Cancer. I need some kind of like sign or something to write down. Maybe I can write it in the chat. Oh my God, it's so good to hear from you. How are you doing? Because it's been a long time. So Maureen is one of the clients that I had in person, and she just has the most infectious energy, the most beautiful smile, such a kind heart, so loving, so supportive. So you are very unforgettable. Okay, so Cancer, what's coming up for you with this Sag New Moon? So for Cancer rising, you have this Sag New Moon in your 6th house, and it's squaring Saturn and Neptune in your 9th. Interesting. So I will say Saturn in the ninth. Oh, perfect. Heal with Steph. Oh my, that's some resonance right there where you're showing up at the exact time. So yeah, sometimes when we have Saturn moving through the ninth house, since the ninth house is associated a lot with like our faith and our conviction about life and about ourselves and about spirit, sometimes we can go through periods of like being tested in our faith. And I do wonder if that's going on for you right now as like this last little push, because Saturn and Neptune for the next few months are going through Pisces for the final time. And we're going to be then having them move into Aries in the latter half of February. So I feel like you guys are going through some kind of like final test of faith, maybe in yourself or in something related to like some kind of health crisis, or not a health crisis, but like something related to health or to work. I just wonder if you guys are going through something where you might be um you might be going through something right now where you just are like something is being tested in some way, in a good way. Like where you're, yeah. This is the Judgment card. Yeah, I don't know. I do wonder if like if you could be potentially, because we got, okay, so I'm specifically pulling cards on the Saturn and Neptune square, and Saturn and Neptune are in your ninth. And I pulled the Doubt card and then the Judgment card. So there's something here where I feel like you might be judging a situation or something within yourself a little bit harshly at times, and like making yourself doubt something. And again, this is like your final push around a test of faith in yourself, I think, especially, or around some kind of work situation. But there might be some kind of judgment from yourself or others, or this could be representing like a spiritual awakening around your doubt where you're like overhauling that right now. So, what is this Saturn Neptune in the ninth about? Oops, that just totally did a backflip. The moon. Yeah, I don't know. You guys might have some subconscious or okay, let me start with one interpretation first. You might have some like subconscious patterning around having like fear and doubt laced into your new beginning, and you might not always see that. So it might feel like it might show up in ways that are really simple, especially in the sixth house. Like, oh, I'll start that tomorrow, or I'll procrastinate, or I don't need to have a schedule for that, or like, just I'm just gonna kind of flow with things, or I don't know. There's something around this where it's like you could be kind of like sabotaging your success, or without realizing it, and it's coming from maybe like a place of fear or doubt, and it's like, oh, I'm actually undermining my success with something in really small, like practical ways, without realizing that. And it could be like, oh, I'm being too perfectionistic. I'm taking too long on something, or to start something, or I'm judging something, or again, procrastinating with something, like really basic stuff that might show itself in other ways. Like, oh, I'm really distracted by my friends and I want to go out and I want to have fun, or I maybe have these other responsibilities. Let me prioritize those instead of this larger goal that I have. It's like it could be really easy um to like waste time. That's the kind of energy I'm getting, of like wasting time and not giving it towards something that is like a higher vision or purpose for your life. And it's not because you actually like need to waste that time, but it's because you have a doubt that you might not be acknowledging within yourself. So what is the new beginning for my Sag? Like or for my Cancer, sorry. Oh my gosh, yeah, became fully aware where I was wasting time lately. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah, because I think that ultimately there's so much potential here. Um, oh, thank you, Maureen. Yeah, I think there's so much potential here, and I feel like you know that you have a lot of potential with something, and I don't know, I almost feel like you could be, when something is like really important to you and you feel like this could be super meaningful to me, and this could be really incredible if I had it. And then it has this, and you're like, I could be really great at this. And then there's this pressure almost. I don't know. I feel like that could be kind of part of it. So the new beginning for you guys, we have the Magician, the Four of Wands in reverse, and then the King of Wands. So we got the Magician card previously. So really for you guys, I feel like this is a lot around living up to your potential. And it might come from going out less or like doing less to like celebrate. The Four of Wands is like a card of marriages and weddings and stuff, but it could be a lot around like joyous celebrations and just like taking it easy and doing things to like have fun and make yourself feel good. And like, I don't know, there's something about this where I think you're going to get more discipline in this new cycle because you have something that is really meaningful. And instead of being to work towards, and instead of being intimidated by that and allowing like some unconscious self-doubt create a lack of time in your life, I see you getting more focused and more intent on it and realizing the significance of it and valuing the significance of it in your everyday choices and not just being in this like laissez-faire kind of like celebratory mindset, but really looking and saying like, I have my potential here and I see where I could go with this, and I'm really going to prioritize this. I'm going to make this something that has to happen for me. And with the King of Wands, I think that you guys are going to build a lot of confidence through acting. So I think you're going to notice that with one step forward and then another step forward, that you're proving to yourself through evidence that you can accomplish something really incredible. And you're going to get this kind of live feedback. So like, let's say you wanted to lose weight and you want to be disciplined about your diet. This is you losing, like making certain sacrifices or going to the gym every day and not scrolling your phone. And you're starting to see the live feedback from your clothes fitting differently, you feeling healthier, and you're going to notice that it gives you a lot of confidence and self-belief. So I really feel like you guys are moving from a place of kind of judging or criticizing yourself or kind of throwing your energy around, and you're tightening things up and you're getting more focused on your goals and more productive. Why is Jupiter happy in Cancer? Isn't it supposed to feel stuck sitting at a sign that is quincunx to Sag? Ooh, interesting question. Yes, I have to get back to being disciplined. Yeah, so I'm not sure about the quincunx to Sag piece. Um, but I think when we see a planet exalted in a sign, it's because it has a natural affinity with what that sign represents. So Cancer is a lot about, it's very like giving, it's very loving, it's very nurturing. And at the core, Jupiter has a lot of those elements as well. It's Jupiter is one of the most generous planets, so it is also very giving. It's also very intuitive as a planet, and it can be quite like other focused. It's a very relationship planet as well, and Cancer as a water sign is also relationship focused. So I think there is quite a lot of elements there that overlap between these that allow Jupiter to succeed well in this sign, or to feel like comfortable in this sign. And also it has a lot to deal with where Jupiter is in its fall. So Jupiter is in its fall in Capricorn, because that's the sign of Saturn and it's too restrictive. So when Jupiter can feel like it's in its flow, it's emotionally intuitive, it's connecting with others, it's generous, it's giving and receiving love, Jupiter can excel really well. But when it's in Capricorn, it feels like it has to be too realistic, too by the book in a way that might make it feel really limited and unnatural. So that to me is why it's exalted in the sign. There's more to that, but I'd be curious about that quincunx piece as well. It's a good question. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to Leos. So Leo rising and sun. This Sagittarius new moon is taking place in your 5th house. So, and it's squaring Saturn Neptune in the 8th. So there could be some kind of new beginning wanting to come through for you with the 5th house could be related to dating, to your creative projects, to your children, to things that are hobbies and interests that you've wanted to develop in yourself. And I wonder if that Saturn square Neptune in the 8th, if you have some sort of like fear or inhibition that could be getting in the way of that. So let's see from the cards what's coming through. What is the Saturn Neptune in the 8th for my Leos? How is this showing up for Leos? So we have the Strength card. One more. This. When I think of strength, I think of battling one's inner demons and the inner voices. 10 of Wands in reverse. Yeah. Okay. Let me pull one more. Saturn, Neptune. She who questions. Yeah. Interesting. So for my Leo risings, suns, or moon, quick side note, I have a planet I have a splay chart, which means I have a lot of planets in different signs. So I have like almost every sign embodied in a planet. And so I will think about what that planet relates to in terms of my chart. So like Mercury is my career planet. So Mercury in Cancer for me. I watch Cancer for my career sometimes. So anyway, that's another way you can use this. So if you want to watch for your moon sign, you would think about this and related to your interior world or your emotions and your relationships with people, because that's where your emotions come out the strongest. So if you watch for your moon sign, it can also be relevant in those particular areas. So for my Leo rising and sun, you have Saturn and Neptune in the 8th, again, squaring this new moon in Sag in their 5th. And we have the Strength card and the 10 of Wands in reverse. So I feel like part of what is happening for you right now, Leo, is needing to strengthen your inner resolve about something. Because the Strength card has a lot to deal with like having a lot of control over our own mind, and Saturn and Neptune in the 8th can bring up quite a bit of these fears or insecurities where we kind of get in our head about something. Emotionally as well. And the Strength card represents needing to like get that needing to tame that inner voice. The 10 of Wands in reverse can suggest like wanting to give up something because you feel very tired out by it. But I almost wonder if you are more tired out by your mind than the actual situation. Because I pulled also like the She Who Questions, Curiosity, Destiny, and Search. I almost wonder if something gets hard, if you start getting in your own head, or if you feel like off about something and then you overthink it. And then you start wondering, well, is this even right for me? Should I even be doing this? I don't know. And it's like you allow yourself to get thrown off balance too easily when there needs to be like emotional resolve where you recognize that there are going to be certain things that come up that maybe make you feel uncertain about yourself or insecure, but you don't dive into that and start like allowing that to fester and really address those questions and think maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. No, it's like, what if I know that I should do this regardless? And if I have those feelings of self-doubt, that I find ways to kind of re-inspire myself with this Sag moon in the 5th. How do I re-inspire myself instead of like getting to the point where I exhaust myself emotionally trying to fix my insecurities to the point where I'm like, I'm just ready to give up on this. If this is related to children, does anyone here have kids? Do you want me to interpret this for children? Because I can, but if not, then I probably won't. So let me know if Leos have children here and they want to interpret it that way. Why does the Magician come out for every group for this new moon? So what is the like new opportunity for my Leo risings? What's the new opportunity coming for them? Like what's the positive, creative thing coming for them? Okay. Yeah. I feel like So we have the Magician. The Magician, again, I keep talking about this as somebody who's living up to their potential. So I really feel like the new opportunity coming for you guys is with the Death card in reverse and the Six of Swords. I don't know. I almost feel like, because the Death card in reverse can represent like having trouble moving on from something, like not wanting to change or evolve something, or wanting to end something, but it's not, like it's kind of sticky. And then the Six of Swords represents like a positive transition. So I feel like you maybe in this cycle of not 100% feeling confident about something or 100% committing to something, because maybe you're like with this Strength card, maybe you kind of get in your own head. And I just feel like there's something here around closing down the doors, like not having other options, not allowing yourself to consider that you're on the wrong path, not allowing yourself to like be able to walk away, I guess. I don't know. I feel like you guys are, I think what I'm trying to say is you're it's not that you're not going to ever experience doubt, but I feel like there's something here around treating that doubt differently, to the point where you don't get exhausted about trying to fix having doubt. And instead, you're able to have maybe better resources or better ways of managing the things that do pop up and challenge you along the way. So if this is like parenting, or if this is related to relationship issues or money issues, which can also come up with this fifth, eighth house square, then this is saying that if you have like setbacks with your finances or with your relationships or with your kids, to not, that you're not going to allow it to like get you down in the same way. Even if you do have feelings about it, you don't act on it. You're not like spiraling with it. Let me see if I can get more messages for you. So Leo, what messages does Leo need to hear with the Sag new moon? What's the main message for Leo? So we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. What's the main message? Yeah, I almost feel like if you would get in your own head about something, you would kind of, the Eight of Pentacles in reverse means like you would stop investing your time and energy into it. So, and the Three of Cups in reverse can represent like maybe getting, well, let me pull another clarifier for that. I'm almost getting this visual of like a little kid who's, am I still live? Can you guys still see me? Can someone comment in the chat to make sure you guys can still hear me? But I'm almost getting this like visual of like a little kid who's losing a game. Okay, great. And then they start, and then they just decide like, okay, I'm going to quit. Like I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. They kind of get this like bad attitude almost. Not to say that you guys are having a bad attitude, but I feel like there's something about this where you're like this kind of stop start energy of like when things are going well, I'm moving forward with this thing that I'm inspired by. But when things aren't going well, I'm allowing that to like like literally stop me in my tracks. And I feel like I think what's changing for you guys is you're learning how to re-inspire yourself. You're learning how to re-engage with something, to feel hopeful about something, to feel creative with something. I'm seeing this kind of typical, like, yeah, typical Leo. Yeah, because there's something, it's almost like with the Leo, I think pride and, self-concept and ego can all be tied in together. So it's like, oh, if I'm feeling my pride is low, like, well, I'm not gonna shine my light and work on this and put myself out there. I'm gonna take a step back. And it's like, no, 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 don't take a step back. Allow that like thing to feel maybe off, but keep consistent with it. I think that's like the main message here. And Yeah, let me pull, like, let me see if there's some kind of any advice, spirit, for Leo. So we have she who begins, launch, actualize, and potential. Yeah, it's like, what if you just, what if you, I mean, this begin card, I'm like, is this something that you're really beginning, or is this something that you're already doing? What is this? Yeah, is this a new beginning, like a totally new project? Ace of Cups. I don't know. There's something that you might be, yeah, this might be like a new, yeah, this might be something new for you guys, a new relationship, a new hobby, new interest, or something like relatively new that it's saying to maybe take some kind of leap with. So it might be that you guys like were working on something and then you stopped, or you had this idea for something and then you stopped because you're like, I don't know. There's something in regards to that where I feel like you maybe had kind of gave up on something, or or like got too tired or burnt out with something, and you kind of like stopped it, and it's like, what if we try again? What if we try again from an but we're different now. So it's like, okay, I'm going to try this thing. Like, maybe let's say, like, when I think of launch, I think of like launching a business. So let's say I launched this business before, this product before, and it didn't go well, and so I just gave up. I'm like, whatever. Well, let's try that again. And this might really not immediately gain traction, but how do we stay the course? So something here around like persistence that I think is a very key message for my Leos, of persisting or trying something again. And with the strength card, that really represents somebody who is able to have the courage and the dedication to something to see it through. So, yeah, don't give up, Leos. I feel like that's something that you need to hear, is a like really challenge yourself to stay the course with something and see it through and give it your all, and learn how to develop the tools to um like re-inspire yourself when you start to feel like you're losing energy. How do you connect back to your light? Because as a Leo, you're ruled by the sun, so you have a natural light too. So how do you remain connected to it even in times of darkness? Because these are long-term journeys that we're talking about. With this new moon in Sag squaring Saturn, there is longevity. And again, we need to be able to sustain ourselves for long periods of time. Okay. So I think that's all of Leo's message. Let's move on to Virgo rising. Okay. I really wish I was like writing down the times for these. I have quite a few close Leos in my life, and from what I've gathered from them, this is spot on. Oh, okay. Interesting. I'm glad that you shared that. Yeah, if anyone has some Leo in their chart, I'd love to hear if this resonates with you guys in some way, or what you feel like this could potentially apply to. And it's okay also if it doesn't resonate. Not every reading has to be for everybody. So, okay, Virgo rising. So, for you, Virgo, this new moon in Sag is in your 4th house, and it's squaring Saturn Neptune in the 7th. So definitely some stuff coming up around emotions, around past, around family, and around your relationships, your commitments. So going home for the holidays could bring up a lot with this new moon in Sag for you guys. So yeah, and I wonder if like family relationships are just really predominant right now, for everyone, but especially for you Virgos, like where you're having maybe some realizations with it or some challenges with it. Um, so let's just see. So what is the Saturn Neptune in the 7th, spirit, for my Virgo risings? What is Saturn Neptune in the 7th for my Virgo risings? I'm a Virgo rising. So we have the Page of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords. Okay. I don't know exactly what that's related to. I mean, from personal experience, I will say that one of the things that like worries me, I'm just really close with my brother. And so when things are not 100% going well for him, it really concerns me. Um, so there could be like worries about family or worries about security, worries about other people in your life, worries about maybe even opening up emotionally, with the fourth house being related to one's inner world. But yeah, I can see with like the mice and the snake. Well, I think that the mouse is related to that energy of worrying about like a lot of little things. And Virgos, you can tend to do this, especially with the South Node moving through your sign. Sometimes Virgos can get really myopic, and the South Node is a lot about bringing up the low energy or low vibrations of a sign. So it might show you where you get too in your head and too focused on what can go wrong. And so this could be part of this new moon, because a new moon squaring Saturn and Neptune, it can kind of bring up like, this is what you fear, this is what you stress about. And it could, again, very much be related to other people, or again, something related to like security or emotions or your family. We also have the snake card. So the snake is like, there could also be a fear around things not being as it seems, or like a snake in the grass. So like a fear of maybe being caught off guard, or something like negative happening to those that you love, or someone not being who they say they are and being a snake, like, and being deceptive, or again, not a situation being deceptive, or like something negative being on the other side of this unknown, and being afraid of that. So with the mouse and the snake, I could see you guys maybe getting in your head with that, of like kind of trying to anticipate the potential snake in the grass, the potential negative outcome, and allowing yourself to get worked up with that. And with the Page of Pentacles, I'm like, what is this Page of Pentacles? Let me pull a clarifier for that. Can you clarify, Spirit, Page of Pentacles? And we have the Hermit. So I don't know. I can see you like really being in your own inner world then, and maybe kind of not holding back, but like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, as a Virgo rising, Mercury is your planetary ruler, and right now Mercury is in its detriment. Um, so it can be easier to sometimes like not be in your full like mental faculties, and sometimes your mind can like turn against you with the Queen of Swords. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like there's a lot of inner dialogue, a lot of like analysis over something. And I wonder if it's kind of like, I see somebody like in their room, and they're like really overthinking something, or they're like, yeah. So it feels, and not that you don't talk about it with other people, but it feels very like isolated, with this being in the fourth house of like, I'm by myself, I'm in my room, I'm in my behind closed doors, and I'm laying awake at night thinking about these fears that I have, overthinking a situation, especially about people that I love or involving other people. And the Queen of Swords upright is usually a really good card, but I mean, especially for like Virgos, because it can have this affinity with you of having this sharp intellect and wit and honesty. And I feel like this Queen of Swords though might be a little bit where you're not, I don't know, it feels like, let me pull a clarifier, but it feels that there's often a coldness with the Queen of Swords. Yeah, 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Again, I feel like this could be a fear of like not having security, or a fear that something isn't going to last the test of time, or a fear around your family, something disrupting your family, something disrupting your financial wellness. Um, it's going to look different for everybody, so I don't want to like sit on that for too long, but there is some kind of fear around that, or like, yeah. So we have the 5 of Wands in reverse and the 10 of Wands in reverse. I think that you're kind of exhausting yourself. And with these cards in reverse, this is about like, these both are about kind of folding and giving up. So I feel like this could be saying, this could be part of your advice, is honestly to like, you might be doing this to the point where you exhaust yourself, like overthinking all these potential negative scenarios, and then like just like collapsing. Like, oh, I just like give up on this. So what's the advice, Spirit, for my Virgos? So we have now, present, and then launch, actualize, and potential. She who begins. Yeah, I think, Louise Hay, if you don't know her, one of her quotes was, the point of power is in the present moment. As a Virgo rising, I definitely overthink things. I mean, this is obviously for me too. But I think a lot of this is like finding your power in the present and what you can start and work on and progress right now that is within your control, and not projecting into like future potentials that are likely never going to manifest. So there's something here around like, stop wasting your energy on overthinking, on the fears, on the what ifs, especially related to other people, like other people's behavior, over analyzing it, or it could be worrying about the future of somebody else, or about the health or well-being of somebody else, or about your family or security. It's like, let's not like let's not chase all those rabbits. Instead, let's come back into our presence, like literally the present moment, and think about what we can actualize or work on in this present moment. That's going to be the thing that is most, because I think you're like, in some ways you're worried about losing some kind of sense of footing or security. So it's like, oh, I'm worried about like losing the security of having a healthy family, or having wealth, or having somewhere to live, or like whatever. You might be worried about something in regards to that. And it's saying like, or something related to your home, or anything. And it's saying that you are actually giving up the security by not focusing on what is here and now, because emotional security, you're getting rid of, you're eliminating emotional security by worrying about all the what ifs. So do we have any Virgos in the chat? I'd love to hear from you guys. Yeah. Okay. So what's the new beginning for my Virgos? I feel like the new beginning is coming back to inner stability. Stability, like having some kind of stabilizing thing that could happen with your family. Let's see. Okay, what's the new beginning for my Virgos? So we have the 4 of Cups, the 7 of Cups in reverse. Yeah. And then the King of Swords in reverse. So I feel like, again, this new beginning for you is coming out of a phase of imagining all these different possibilities that could go wrong. And the King of Swords is like, yeah, we got the King and Queen of Swords, but it's somebody who might be like kind of cold in their mind, like using logic as a sword that hurts. So like following a trail, yeah, worrying about your family. Yeah, I relate to that so much. I think like here's the thing with Sag. Sag can be kind of like delusional in a good way. And I think that you guys need more of that. You need more of that sense of like blind faith that comes from Jupiter, where you are not like overly focused on like all the facts, and then blowing it up to be like, oh, well, this fact can then lead to that outcome, then to that outcome. And it's like, well, it's just there. It's the reality. Like they're having this health issue. So of course it could progress, and of course it could lead to there. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you could find logic there with the King of Swords, but you're using the logic to go down a trail, like a path in your mind that is causing you harm. So you're wielding your rational mind in a way that is damaging. And that's how I see the King of Swords. And so this could come out also in like communication and rifts with family potentially. Or again, like maybe seeing things through an ungenerous perspective. So it could feel, yeah, I think that right now it's the most important thing is to just not like imagine things, not anticipate things. But come but allow yourself to have the delusional Layla aspect of Sag that is the best possible outcome is coming for me and my family. And you can manifest that. And there might be things that show like that in reality that show themselves that might seem like against that, like contradicting that. But what if you had that blind faith anyway? And I think that you would find that it actually everything ends up being fine. I don't want to say that for sure because you never really know, but worrying about it is not going to help anyway. Okay, Julia, Libra, Sun, Scorpio rising, Gemini moon, general appearance was Mars and Virgo. Yeah, so as a Libra sun, well, as a Scorpio rising, okay. So as a Scorpio rising, your Mars and Virgo is your planetary ruler. So maybe you're experiencing some of this. It could be in a different area though, like maybe around your own health. Okay, so let's move on to Libra rising. Guys, I meant to be like jotting down the times for all these so I don't have to rewatch this whole video. So, okay. Libra rising. I have Virgo 7th house, been thinking a lot about marriage, my future spouse, but also finding joy in releasing expectations, letting things flow. Don't know if this is relevant. Absolutely relevant. Absolutely. Yeah, overthinking relationships, I think, is a big thing with that Saturn in the 7th, like worrying about things or taking things like really seriously to the point where it like constricts the life out of it. With that Sag blood, it's like Sag rules the arterial system, so it's like literally the flow of blood in our body and the sense of like life and vitality and excitement and courage and optimism. That's what we're meant to be embodying more of. But this kind of Saturn Neptune of like projections or fears or taking things too seriously or worrying too much about something and putting too much focus and pressure on something can kind of like dry up that lifeblood. So I think a lot of us are meant to be coming back to the present moment and getting inspired by what we can do right now to make our like emotional life the best it can be, our home life the best it can be, our finances the best it can be. And in turn, that will then impact our relationships positively. Taking a certain crush very seriously right now, but starting to calm down. Yeah, same. I totally get that. It's like, let's just focus on, the basics around our own inner world. And I think that is, and like feeling good. And I think that's going to be the best. Okay. Okay. So Libra rising. So what's this new moon in Sag for you is happening in your 3rd house and it's squaring Saturn Neptune in your 6th. So I wonder if Libras are having anything going on with health with that Saturn Neptune in the 6th. They might also have stuff coming up in relationships and career because the planetary ruler of this new moon is Jupiter and it's in the 10th and it's squaring Chiron the 7th. So let's see from these cards what's coming up for my Libras. What is it that you might be challenged with the Saturn Neptune square? Okay, we have the Knight of Pentacles. We have the Hierophant in reverse, and then the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, my friend and therapist is a Libra rising, and she was talking to me the other day because she's a very free-spirited person, and she was saying that one of the things she's struggling with since becoming a mom is like the way that inhibits your freedom and your like ability to experience novelty. So there might be something here that is like the challenge for you guys could be concerning stability with the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is also like slow moving energy. So with your planetary ruler Venus being in Sag, you might get ahead of yourselves. Like Venus and Sag wants movement, especially in the 3rd house. It wants communication. It wants adventure. It wants progress. It wants to be busy and excited and stimulated. So let's say you have a new person coming into your life. I want to jump right in. Or let's say I want to go on that trip. I want to go yesterday. And so Venus and Sag is like this thrilled, exhilarated energy, but it's being suppressed and slowed down by Saturn and Neptune. And the wind is kind of taking it out of its sails. It's like, okay, you can have that, but you got to go slow. You can't, you have work responsibilities. You can't just run off and go on this trip, or you have certain things that, yeah, you have to take care of first, or something with timing that might slow you down in some way. Like practical things in life might slow you down, and it could feel a little bit like frustrating a little bit. Yeah, with the Hierophant, this is like traditional responsibilities and having to juggle like what you really want to do and maybe like exciting new stuff and with what you have to do. But these cards are in reverse. So maybe part of you wants to say like, fuck it. I'm going to like abandon not this responsibility per se, but like yeah, maybe there's something here of like, I don't want to follow the traditional path, or I don't want to have to balance things. I want to be able to just like do what I want when I want. That could be part of this, or like I don't want to just wait for this like expected timeline. I want to skip ahead. So there's something about that where I could see having to juggle these things, having to play by the rules, having to take things slow, or to dot all your T's, cross all your I's, like, oh, I got to save money first before I can move on to this next step. Like Sag can get ahead of itself and be like, no, I want to buy that house right now. No, I want to move to that place right now. And so it's like slowing you down might be a little bit annoying for you guys. So what is it that this new beginning is giving my, oh, this is, all these cards are coming out in reverse. That's so interesting. Yeah, we have the Knight of Swords in reverse. This is the fastest card in the deck, but it's reversed. So again, there's something here around things like, it's interesting to have the fastest card in the deck and then the slowest card in the deck as starting off like the thing that you're being frustrated by and the thing that you are manifesting as a new beginning. It's like the slowest card and then the fastest card, but in reverse. So there's something there with that that's relevant. Let me come back to it when it speaks to me. What's this new beginning for Libra risings? What's this new beginning with the Sag new moon? I do think a change in perspective. Anytime we see a new moon in the third house, there's some kind of change in perspective. But yeah, what else is coming through for my Libra risings as a new beginning? We have the King of Pentacles. This really feels like you're coming to recognize when you are moving forward from an impulsive and dysregulated energy and like reaching for something like desperately to assuage like this internal discomfort rather than really this being the natural next step. It's like when you're in a car and you're driving somewhere, if you know that you don't have to be there until a certain time and you're like you're enjoying where you're at, and so you're like listening to some cool music, you're not going to like push your foot all the way down the pedal and rush and speed around and try to get there really fast, because there's something in the present that you're really enjoying and you're feeling like stable within yourself. And so you're not going to rush to like get past that present moment to get to the other side or to the journey or to the destination. Instead, like you understand that like the journey is part of the pleasure. Being in the car, watching the sunset, listening to your jams, being alone for a minute, having a second to reflect, like that is part of the enjoyment of it. So I can see from this like Knight of Swords, maybe there's this impulse or this desire to like to accelerate something, but then you start to realize again that maybe there is something in this present moment where you can experience like more more stability. And I think part of it comes from being okay with the high priestess around the mystery of things. Like, I don't have to know yet. I don't have to figure this all out yet. I don't have to have all the answers. And so that's part of the change of perspective, is like being okay in this process of transition and being like comfortable in the present moment, and maybe even to the point of enjoying the present moment for whatever reason you can find. But there's something here around like not trying to force things forward, push things forward to get out of like this uncertainty, but instead allow yourself to feel like stable and grounded in the present and navigate periods of transition with a lot of openness to the unknown. And with the King of Pentacles, like really focusing on stabilizing and grounding yourself, maybe focusing on your career, focusing on building something up in your life financially. Jupiter in the 11th house, maybe focus on your friendships or a long-term goal. But there can be this sense of, or sorry, I'm so sorry. Jupiter in your 10th house. So yes, focusing on career, I think is going to be your biggest thing of like, this is how much money I want to make. This is where I want to, like, this is my goal that I'm building towards. This is my legacy that I want to leave. That's where I'm going to put my energy. And in the meantime, this other thing that I'm really excited about, I'm going to allow it, or maybe you're not excited about it. Maybe you're trying to rush to get out of it. Maybe you're uncomfortable in it. Either way, don't rush towards or away from something. Allow yourself to sit in the unknown and focus on your career instead. Okay, so some of you guys said Proud Dream said, yes, it's the worst timing ever. I feel blocked from communication, excitement in relationships and career. So now I feel like I just want some time for myself to reflect, process slowly. I feel like stepping into the unknown, such a transition period. I'm enjoying the peace. Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like the more that you can create that sense of, honestly, like authority within yourself, that's how I see Jupiter in your 10th, of being like you are listening to your own inner wisdom. You are building your own career for yourself. You are taking steps to create this, again, this like this legacy or this impact. You know, you're utilizing your energy in a way that's like your own leader of your own life. I don't know if that's making sense, but anyway, I think I'm just going to leave that there. I think it's trusting in the unknown and not trying to rush into things too much or rush away from things. And again, focusing on that legacy, that career, trusting in yourself in that process is going to help you. Okay, let's move on to Scorpio rising, and then I'm going to go pee really quick. Sit in the unknown, really, that's what's happening right now. Yeah, I think that is really largely associated with Saturn being in Pisces, but also just Neptune in general. Neptune is a lot of like forcing us to realize where gripping harder is actually worse, and instead letting go and allowing things to, like, if you were like, for example, if you were I'm from Florida. I grew up in Florida. So it's like when you're in the ocean and you get pulled out into a riptide, you don't want to fight that current. You don't want to like try to swim against it. Instead, you want to maybe allow it to kind of take you out and swim to the side. So it's like you're finding your own way of being in the energy for a minute and then finding this kind of creative solution by allowing yourself to be in the energy for a minute to get to take a different direction, if that makes sense. Anyway, there's something that these liminal phases teach us. So for Scorpio, what is it that so Scorpio, this new moon is in your second house. The Sag new moon in your second house, and it's squaring Saturn and Neptune in your fifth. Scorpios are another sign ruled by Mars traditionally, and Mars is in Capricorn in your third. So this can be a very constructive time for my Scorpios. A lot is coming up around money for Scorpios. Money, self-worth, independence. So it might feel like that's a big pull for you guys right now. And with this square to Saturn and Neptune in the 5th, it can maybe feel like Scorpio rising, present and ready. Why are so many of these cards reversed? I feel like too many of them are reversed. I'm going to flip the deck. I kind of worry about my Scorpios with this star in reverse and having Saturn and Neptune in the 5th. What is this going on for Scorpios? I wonder. Yeah, okay. So with this stillness card, it's kind of similar. I feel like a lot of these readings kind of bleed into each other in certain ways. This feels a little bit of overlap with Libra, where things might be like still, things might be quiet, things might not be moving forward in a certain area of your life. And it could make you feel like you're not sure about it. We could be jumping to conclusions and maybe making assumptions that something isn't going to work out, that you're not going to get some kind of like wish that you have, or that things aren't going to improve. Or I almost get this like negative thinking of like, well, because this hasn't moved at all, I'm assuming now that it's never potentially going to move, and I'm like jumping to the wrong conclusion here. So it's almost like let's say I want to, for me personally, I want to grow my YouTube channel. Well, I put out some videos, and instead of gaining subscribers, I lose subscribers, or maybe they stay the same. And so in my mind, I'm like, this is not going to happen for me. And maybe I need to like think about this not like my conclusion that I'm drawing is the thing that I'm doing either isn't working, or this isn't my reality. This isn't my path. This isn't my potential. And so I just have to accept that. So something around this where it's like, maybe that's not the right conclusion to come to. Because the 5th house has a lot to do with like our joy and our pleasure and feeling like we also get a lot of recognition. Yeah, don't accept that. Yeah, the 5th house is where we get our recognition, where we feel like people finally really see us. Or like, yeah, you're doing that so well. Or you get that raise at work, or somebody wants to date you after a long time being single. So that's the feeling of the 5th house. But with Saturn and Neptune there, we can feel like it's not coming through for us, and that we're in that limbo of like, I really want someone to finally see me for who I am. I really want someone to finally give me that raise, or finally date me, or for this thing to finally like break out into the world in some way. And then maybe you don't immediately get the results, and then you're like, is this even going to happen? You start to like lose faith. That's one potential. There might be some others. We'll see. So what's the new beginning for Scorpios? So we have the Justice. What's the new beginning for Scorpios? We have the Justice. We have the 4 of Cups in reverse. Yeah. I almost wonder, and the 7 of Pentacles. I almost wonder if some of you guys have been feeling like kind of behind the scenes, or maybe low key in some way. Oh, my throat is kind of hurting. I almost wonder if you're about to like get back out there and about to have more of this like big kind of external moment. Yeah, Scorpio brother, he's all about diet lately. That's really good. That's funny because mine is too. Yeah, I wonder if that's like Jupiter in the 9th squaring Chiron on the 6th. The 6th is a lot around health. This card keeps coming out. It's so interesting. This launch, actualize, and potential card keeps coming out for all these groups. So I think that we're really in this phase of needing to like needing to trust in some kind of potential for ourselves and work on it now, even if the results don't come right away. So the new beginning for you guys, we have the Justice card. Excuse me. So the Justice can be related to having things come back to you. So I think that if you guys have been feeling like something is really stagnant and you're questioning, is this even working or is this going to get better? Maybe you've been working on things behind the scenes. Like, I'm just going to, like, in your case, Snick, maybe your brother is like, oh, I'm just going to be like working on my diet. And maybe there's something else that he wants, but it's maybe he doesn't see progress in that quite yet. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to like focus on this thing that I can manage. Like working on health or doing something doing some kind of hobby that they enjoy or whatever. So there's something like that where I can see maybe Scorpios being like a little bit more like focused behind the scenes and on themselves. Hi. And so with the Justice card, I see this paying off for them. So if they've been doing which Zoe is this? Because my best friend's name's Zoe, but I don't know if that's you or not. But yeah, the for Scorpios, this oh, hey Zoe, I can't believe you're here. Sorry, getting distracted. Poopization is your username. That's hilarious. I have questions. So yes, this Justice card to me is saying that Scorpios are going to have something really pay off for them. I feel like if there's been, I don't know. I feel like there's been this like maybe this like lack of movement, this lack of progress with something. Maybe things have been feeling like really peaceful, but like maybe that could sometimes get in their head. With the Justice, I see them like that there's going to be something that starts to shift for them and that things are going to pay off. Even if it's not right now, the things that they're working on behind the scenes are absolutely going to pay off. This could be something financial as well, of like, I've been like I've been wanting to make more money or have this kind of thing happen with my finances. Like maybe I have a property that I really want to sell or really want to buy or have something move forward with like your financial assets. And maybe that was kind of feeling really still, or again, like your dating life or something. And I feel like it was not moving forward, but the message here is that Scorpios, like you don't need to worry that there is going to be some kind of just outcome, but with the 7 of Pentacles, it might take a little bit of time. And that's really, really normal for a new moon square Saturn, but you could get signs right now around this thing. Or you could start something related to it now or make some progress now, but you might not see the results immediately. So with the 4 of Cups in reverse, I feel like this is saying that the things that the Scorpios have been doing behind the scenes to fill their own well, to take care of themselves, to maybe the things that they have said no to as well. Like, oh, I don't want to go out with that random person because it doesn't feel good when I'm with them or whatever. I don't know. I feel like if they've been dieting and they're saying no to the junk food, whatever this is, I feel like my Scorpios are going to experience the hard work paying off for them. And it's going to either build their sense of self-worth and their self-image, or it's going to potentially aid in their financial wellness. So it's like, because I haven't been spending money, now I'm going to see the results of it. Or maybe this Sag new moon helps them dedicate to like a longer budgeting journey, and that's something on their mind. Or again, maybe more discipline around certain things in their life. But I feel like where they haven't been seeing results, this new moon is going to kind of maybe reinvigorate some action that is going to help them get results. Where they have sacrificed, it will pay off equally, but it might take a little bit of time. So I guess for my Scorpios, stay the course and keep your optimism, because I think that the things that you're working on in quiet now are going to start to pay dividends. Maybe more so like when Uranus moves into Gemini, or because that will be in your 8th opposite this. Maybe it'll be more towards like the spring, summer months, but I think you'll notice that all of the work that you did prior will catch up with you. Bless all Librans, sixth house exhaustion has not yet left. Okay, so any last pieces of advice for Scorpio? Oops, that's kind of a lot. So we have the Nine of Cups, the Moon in reverse, and the Temperance in reverse. So the Nine of Cups is like, allow yourself to be filled with joy at the potential of something. So instead of feeling like, oh, but it hasn't moved forward, or I haven't really seen all the results that I'm looking for, allow yourself to really want this thing and get excited about it, even when there isn't immediate progress. I think that's really important. And know that just because you can't see it doesn't mean that things aren't progressing. And how do you kind of keep yourself balanced when there are, with the moon in reversed, how do you keep yourself balanced even when there are moments of like, again, like clouds? So just because there are clouds out doesn't mean that I don't know if there are stars behind those clouds at night. Like, I know that they are there. So it's like, okay, I know my outcome is coming. If I keep doing these things, it will eventually get there. So how do I have faith even in these moments where I can't see the immediate results? How do I have faith and more so just like keep myself at peace and not like jump to any conclusions unnecessarily? So that's the ultimate goal for my Scorpios, is to remain at peace even when there isn't immediate evidence, and to allow yourself to really fully wish and desire this thing, because I think it will absolutely come back to you. It will come to you, and your efforts will pay off if this is something that requires effort. But I think also it's just a matter of timing, a divine timing that is outside of your hands for my Scorpios. So anyone here is Scorpio? And if so, does that resonate? Does that relate to you at all? And Zoe, if you're still here, I'd love to hear what you are up to. I know your birthday is literally tomorrow. So happy birthday. Okay. So as you guys write that in the chat, I'm just going to run off to the potty. Scorpio rising, yes. So just 1 second, because I drink a lot of water. I'll be right back. Oh my gosh. So we have more people born tomorrow. That is so cool. Sagicorn. Y'all be sure to hit that like button. Thank you so much. Yeah, Happy birthday, first of all, to all my Sagittarians. And yeah, I would love any likes, shares. I'm trying to grow my channel in 2026. I'm hoping to double my subscribers, putting that out there, but we'll see. We'll see if it happens. Okay, so up next we have Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius, rising and sun, this new moon is obviously in your first house or wherever your sun is, and it's squaring Saturn and Neptune in your fourth house. So anytime we have a new moon in our first, it's a chance for us to kind of awaken a new part of ourselves, a new chapter in our lives, to grow, especially in some capacity where we maybe have felt limited or like we're butting up against a challenge. Just kind of our opportunity to break past that. So I'm curious what this challenge is with this Saturn Neptune in your fourth. So the fourth can be a lot around our family, stuff from the past. It can be a lot of like emotional stuff. So let's see exactly what the cards are saying. So what is this Saturn Neptune challenge, Spirit? Oops. Oh, my card really wanted to come out. 8 of Wands. Okay. What's the Saturn Neptune challenge? The Queen of Swords in reverse. And then the Temperance in reverse. Interesting. Let me pull one more card. So the 8 of Wands, like normally I think about this card as like movement, speed. I got man. Some of you guys, this could be related to a man in your life, or just like representing another person in your life. I don't know that the gender necessarily matters, but there could be something related to like other people, maybe your family with this Saturn Neptune being in the fourth. Maybe a father figure that is kind of at the heart of this potentially. So yeah, we have the 8 of Wands, the Queen of Swords in reverse, and the Temperance in reverse. So when I see the 8 of Wands, like I was saying, I normally see this as like movement and a lot going on, and having a lot of like a desire for this forward progress. But I'm kind of getting this in more of a relational way. Let me pull another card just to make sure, like a clarifier, Spirit, for this 8 of Wands. So we have the Page of Cups in reverse, 6 of Cups in reverse. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm getting this feeling of like you being pulled in a lot of different directions. And almost like when, let's say you go home for the holidays and then you like different, I don't know. I'm kind of getting this visual of like everybody wanting something different from you and you kind of getting pulled. And there's a lot with Sag and with Pisces that is very important to have boundaries. And a lot of times those things can be tested. If you do have Pisces in your IC, in your history, in your childhood, maybe boundaries were something potentially that were a little bit loosey-goosey. It depends on your whole natal chart, but even emotional boundaries and whatnot. But there's something here around that where, I don't know, I feel like you're being stretched and because of other people's energies, like it's stretching you, pulling you, or taking from you, with this 8 of Swords. And the Queen of Swords in reverse can indicate like maybe at times you need to be honest and speak your truth and have your boundaries, but maybe either you struggle to do that or maybe you do that, but it comes across as like cold or disheartened in some way. Yeah, with the Temperance in reverse, this is usually a card around like peace and balance and this sense of like understanding and mutual reciprocity, but it's in reverse. So it might feel like when I lay down the law, you have this kind of like it disrupts the peace here. You have a reaction to this. I don't know. There's something here in life that I feel like it doesn't just have to be your family, but it could be with that Saturn Neptune in the fourth. But there's this feeling of like, again, just being pulled in a lot of directions in life, and maybe feeling like when you try to, again, communicate about something in a firm way, that you might have an association of that with it also causing some kind of like disruption in the peace. Or maybe you at times like are the one who folds or like will overextend yourself for someone or something. There's also that feeling of like, well, maybe I don't want to say that thing, so instead I will disrupt my own peace. Yeah, something in regards to that. And this feels very much since childhood with this Page of Cups in reverse and Six of Cups in reverse. This feels, again, like very old. Like this has been maybe a long standing pattern or something. So, and again, a man in your family or a man in your life could be like drawing out some of these, could be at the center of this issue, or drawing it out of you right now, like show like it's bringing it out in your life potentially. So okay, that's curious. Let's see, because I think that like Sag is all about growth, but sometimes Pisces can do this thing where they feel like they have to save other people, or they have to like sacrifice themselves for other people. I almost wonder if there's like some sort of messaging around that within the family of like, I have to be the one to like my family. I don't know, like there's some messaging in the family of like, sacrifice yourself and your growth and what you need for you to keep the peace. And I feel that people can even go beyond that and like also like want a lot from you with this Eight of Wands, or maybe the Eight of Wands represents your growth being somehow like stymied or like stifled by other people's energies, like pulling from your own energy. Because with all the Sag in the first house, it's like definitely your time to shine, to move, to grow, to expand, to realize more of yourself, actualize more of yourself. But if other people are like pulling on your energy, it could take away from what you could be funneling into these other areas of your life, and you might not even realize how much that actually like drains you energetically. So definitely boundaries is coming in here. So what is the new beginning for my Sag? Okay, so we have the Hermit, we have the Judgment in reverse. Oh, thank you so much, Pianum. So we have the Hermit, the Judgment in reverse for the new beginning. What else? What else for the new beginning for Sag? What is this new moon? What are they gaining from it? What is this like growth for them? What is this movement for them? This potential for them? So we have the Nine of Wands in reverse. And the Knight of Cups in reverse. Okay. So, okay, one of the things that immediately came to mind with the Knight of Cups in reverse is like emotional manipulation. So if you know anybody, I wonder if this is involving a man, but anyway, the Knight of Cups in upright can be like somebody who's very charming. They're very like seductive, or if this is talking about family, obviously that's not what I'm talking about, but there's something here of like, I know what to say in the situation. And in reverse, it could be using that to like emotionally manipulate somebody in like a negative way. So I almost feel like in the past, I wonder if people have like even unconsciously like emotionally projected things onto you, or emotionally manipulated you in some way, or like, because Pisces can have that trouble with like separate emotional membranes. And so you could take on the responsibility of other people's emotions sometimes. It's like making like somebody in your family making you feel bad for making them feel some way. And you're like, wait a second, that's your responsibility. So there's something with that where I feel like there could be some entanglement around that. And with the 9 of Wands in reverse, this is a card of like having to fight for something, but when it's in having to persevere, but when it's in reverse, it can be that you're like giving up in some way. So I feel like you might be giving up, like trying to be, um, like, first of all, I think it could be where you're recognizing where there might be some of that like emotional manipulation potentially, if that is happening. But I also think this could represent you where, I don't know, I almost could see you not caring as much and being like, I don't care if I'm like socially the most charming or um the most like liked or I don't know, there's something here around not trying so hard to make other people like feel really really good around you and sacrificing yourself in the process. Like let's say you're the life of the party, and it's like but you're having a bad day. Like maybe you would just normally put that aside and just still be the life of the party, but I can see you guys being like, if I'm having a bad day, I'm going to be authentic to that. I'm just going to have a bad day. And I'm not going to take on the responsibility of trying to make everyone else feel a certain type of way. So that's like one of these messages that might not apply to everybody, but that's something that I'm seeing. The other message with the Hermit and the Judgment in reverse, I also feel like the Hermit is a self-reflective card, which makes sense with having all these planets in Sag in your first house. This is a time of a lot of self-focus. And it is meant to be a time where you are um like a little bit more selfish. This is your birthday time after all. So there's something here around, I think you're going to have a lot of like self-realizations, especially where you may have like criticized or judged yourself, and it could have been from other people's voices. Like if you have, because a Judgment card, it can represent like some kind of spiritual awakening, but it can also represent where, again, where we judge ourselves. So I almost wonder if there's something here of where other influences from family or from past events have let you inhibit your self-expression in some kind of way, or where you start to do something but then you like question yourself or judge yourself, but it's actually not really coming from your true heart. It's actually coming from a different source that might have taught you some messaging around it. So yeah, I don't know, I'm just seeing a lot around like appeasing and pleasing and being likable and fitting into like what other people want for the peace. And I feel like you're saying fuck that. Like, I am not gonna be hard on myself anymore. I'm not gonna contort myself to fit into this ideal image of what you want. I'm not going to not say something to keep the peace. I'm not going to try to make everyone else feel good at the expense of myself. Instead, I'm gonna take up space. I'm gonna take up my own energy and I'm gonna do me. And if that comes at the cost of how that affects you, so be it. That's your responsibility to deal with and not mine. And I'm not going to judge myself or be hard on myself for your reaction to this. And it feels like, again, it feels like like maybe you are keeping yourself small in some way, even if it's like symbolically and emotionally, or and in ways that are not super obvious. Like it doesn't have to be like career or whatever, though it could be. But I just see yourself like I could see you playing it small, or like hiding a little bit of yourself, or like holding back a little bit of yourself. And now I'm like, no, go all out kind of thing. So any other messages for my Sag spirit that I haven't covered? The Moon in reverse, the High Priestess in reverse. These are two cards when they're upright that speak about things being invisible or unknown. So I think that something at this time is really being awakened within you. Something that was once hidden is making itself clear, is making itself visible. So if you have been influenced by people or something going on, this could be you recognizing their influence in your own subconscious or in your own life and being like, I didn't realize that actually came from this man. I didn't realize that much that affected me until now. And now I see its influence, or now I see like what's really going on in the situation. Whereas before I think I didn't. So I literally said the other day, I know I'm playing it small. Good advice, reassurance. You're going to give back what you stole from me too. Yeah. And it's like, I see you guys like taking it back through your sense of empowerment and through your healing as well. With Jupiter ruling this new moon and it being your 8th, I think a lot of it comes from like healing around where you maybe have felt triggered or powerless or vulnerable or insecure or uncertain of your own light. And with it squaring Chiron on the 5th, I feel like you're healing a lot of that and trying to come back into like your confidence, your light, your visibility, your success, your movement forward, you're taking up space, all those things, even on an emotional plane. So any other advice or messages for Sag Spirit? Any other advice or messages? Okay, I'm just going to pull one last card from this deck. So we have she who battles, or she who regrets, battle, victory, and bitterness. And then she who whispers, secrets, confessions, confidant. So yeah, I think that the secrets are coming out. If there were secrets or if there were influences from places that were somewhat hidden, again, I really see these coming out into the light and it making itself really known. And I could see you also not holding back either, not keeping everything in either, and expressing things quite frankly, quite honestly, not having secrets, but owning it, even if it creates some kind of battle, even if it creates some kind of stress or disruption. I see you owning something, or maybe somebody says something or brings something out in the open that addresses like a long-standing issue or something that it has always been there, but it's bringing it to light and you're all like addressing it for the first time. But I see this as kind of a confronting energy. Whatever this is, it's a revelation and confrontation in a positive way that I think is going to free up a lot of your energy so you can move forward instead of like spending so much energy actively suppressing the truth or actively suppressing yourself or trying not to acknowledge something. I see you freeing all that energy up and now being able to use that to move forward in your life. And that 8 of Wands, I think, is going to be less about people trying to take from you energetically and you being able to use that to like move your life forward quite quickly. Especially when Uranus moves into Gemini around like end of April, beginning of May. That's when things will really speed up for you. Okay, so happy birthday, Sag. Let's go ahead and move on to Capricorn. I feel like I'm losing my voice, you guys. Okay. So, okay, I think we're moving at not too bad of a pace. I was kind of anticipating that this would maybe take 3 hours. Thank you so much. Okay, so Capricorn rising. For you guys, this Sag New Moon is happening in your 12th house. So let me write Capricorn rising. Guys, I really got to document this because otherwise I got to go back and watch a 3-hour video to add timestamps for everybody. Okay. Capricorn rising, Sag New Moon in your 12th house and squaring Saturn and Neptune in your 3rd. So what is the Saturn Neptune energy for my Capricorn risings and suns? So we have the Fool card in reverse. We have the Hangman. Okay. It is in reverse though. And then we have the Death card. Wow. There's so much overlap between these cards. Okay, what's the new beginning for my Capricorn risings? It's funny because we got the Death card and the 12th house is very much associated with that kind of like symbolic death. What's the new beginning for my Cap risings? As the last house in the zodiac, it's going to be related to things where they literally go into the spiritual realm, into some other transformation of energy, and then are reborn when they reach Capricorn. So, okay, I'm gonna pause there and come back. So, having the Fool card in reverse. Okay, I have a couple things going on here. So with the 12th house new moon, I feel like there is something that's trying to I was gonna say there's something trying to close out, but I don't know, because this Fool card in reverse, there's two things that it can mean. It's either that you are resisting a new beginning, which I think is very possible for some of you, or having fear around some new start, some fresh start. With the Hangman, this is usually somebody who's like paused and not like moving forward. They're like, oh, I'm just going to stay in this limbo. But it's in reverse that usually represents like coming out of a pause. And then we have the Death card, which is about change and transformation and embracing the ending of something to encourage a beginning. So you have the beginning card and then the ending card. So there is some kind of transition happening here, but there could be either resistance to this new beginning, or there could be where this feeling of jumping in head first and then feeling like jumping in like too quickly, you know what I mean? I don't know that that's the message though. Let me pull clarifiers for each of these cards. So clarifier for the Fool in reverse. Six of Swords in reverse. Yeah, I don't know. I almost get like, let's say you're gonna go on this trip, and maybe this is you being like, well, what if I forget to pack something? Or the Six of Swords in reverse is like a rocky start, or anticipating a rocky start, anticipating like a fear of some kind of transition. I definitely feel like my life is currently on pause right now. Yeah, I almost wonder, yeah, if you're Capricorn rising, I do wonder if there's something here of like fear of making some kind of transition and having some kind of pause, maybe fearing some kind of major transformation or major ending that it would require. Yeah, so maybe the Hangman, um, maybe there is some kind of shift in perspective that you're meant to have, but you could be, again, there could be some resistance to all these cards represent like change, transition, ending and new. So there's something about this where I feel like there's a fear around that. And that's really common with a 12th house new moon, because there's a lot, there can be like these existential like questions that can come up with 12th house new moons, where it's like it can create fear, fear of the unknown, fear of if I do go into this new horizon, or if I do leave behind this familiar land, and I'm journeying out into the sea with the Six of Swords in reverse, and I'm going out there with the Fool card, blind faith, like what am I going to encounter? And there's this like trepidation there around the unknown of letting something go and having a new beginning, and the kind of like crisis of faith that comes with that. And it's squaring Saturn, Neptune in the third, where you might like really get in your head and overthink things to a degree, where you want to grasp onto it intellectually. But it might be out of reach in that way. And that could be difficult of like, well, I just want to know what's happening. I just want to fully understand the situation before I get started. I just want to fully like if I'm going to leave this, like let's say you want to move out of the country, just a random example. Or let's say you want to start a new relationship because Jupiter, the ruler of this moon, is in the seventh. I want to start this new relationship. I want to start dating again or move to this other country, but I don't know this person yet. Like, I don't know if I should take that chance. What's the other country like? Let me do a lot of research. And it's like you're trying to anticipate and like know something fully before you leave behind where you're at and this secure thing, or like the stagnant thing, or the known, the familiar. but you can't know it before. You really can't. So the new beginning for you, I got the 10 of Swords. So the new beginning for you is allowing yourself to end something. Like leave that familiar ground. Leave where you are currently stagnating, or where you are currently feeling like, oh, I know this place. I've always been here. Allowing yourself to actually just leave it and try something that you don't know what it is, but you're like, it might be exciting, but also scary. And yeah, I think I really get the sense that you're fearing this new start, but then the Sagittarius new moon is going to help you kickstart this energy to encourage you to embrace the change, embrace the thing that needs to end. And it truly is like, it has to fully end, whatever this thing is. You can't go back to it. You can't say I'm going to move abroad and then still live in the States or wherever you're from. Like you actually have to make some kind of choice that maybe you have to quit your job, or you have to get rid of your apartment or sell your house or whatever. And it's like, you can't just undo that and go back to the exact life you had. Once the cat's out of the bag, once you end it, that's it. And I think that's where some of that fear is coming from, is like, once I do this is going to impact my life trajectory. And there's a fear there of like, well, if I leave this, and what if the new thing isn't actually as good as what I know now? And it can create that fear of like, well, that's a little intimidating. But I think that there's something about this where you are going to like die inside if you keep with what you're doing. You have to evolve. That's the only thing in life that is consistent, is this idea of change, and evolution and growth. And Sagittarius, is its ultimate goal is growth. So there is some kind of like blind faith that you need to have here and move towards that growth. And there are going to be hiccups along the way, because that's life. But that shouldn't discourage you from not doing it, because I think you will not be satisfied where you're at now anyway. Any other messages, Spirit, for Capricorn and their new beginning, what they're getting with this new beginning by leaving the thing behind? What are they going to get in this new beginning? So we have 6 of Wands. And the 4 of Swords in reverse. So we have 6 of Wands in reverse, 4 of Swords in reverse. So I feel like the 6 of Wands should be upright, frankly. So what I think you're going to get from this new beginning is, I think you're going to come out of a period of isolation with this 4 of Swords. Maybe you have been spending a lot of time alone, spending a lot of time indoors, spending a lot of time resting or reflecting, or just like maybe life has felt quite still. Like you said, real Miss Nikki, maybe you felt like you said life is on a pause. That's very 4 of Swords. When you embrace this ending, you're going to have movement again. You're going to get out in the world again. The 6 of Wands is like being met with people who are receptive to your energy, who are, I feel like you're going to come into a period of like extroversion and excitement, and like life rising up to meet you. And I don't know, it's almost like seeing somebody if somebody is like sick, for example, they might be at home for many days, like me, and then they finally go out to the world. It's like, wow, there's all this life out here. And you just kind of get in your own cocoon, and you get so used to that time alone. Oh, it's Natasha. Oh my gosh. Hey, Natasha. I did not know that was you. So you get so used to like being in your own energy and like being behind closed doors. And it's like, no, it's time to like put yourself out there into the world, have visibility. Natasha, this is exactly what I was telling you the other day. Literally exactly. And so we have your advice, she who prepares, formulate strategy and devise, create a plan, create a structure, create a routine, create a goal, move towards that goal, to put yourself out there, to embrace some type of ending, and not be fearful of this new beginning on the other side. So there's something really exciting and really warm and really inviting and really fulfilling that I feel like is on the other side for you. But you have to be willing to leave your familiar ground, and create some kind of plan to take that step forward. So amazing. Natasha, I'm so glad that you're here hearing this message. Okay. So let's move on to Aquarius. I love doing these readings. I usually like don't do them for this long because I will get like I like literally get lightheaded. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like talking for 2.5 hours. You got me all the way together. I went to bed thinking about you last night, Natasha. You're on my heart, you're on my mind. So I really hope that you really consider how amazing you are at astrology. And yeah. Okay. So I think a lot of the Sag New Moon is about us living up to our potential. And I think we will realize what's getting in the way of that at this time. Okay, Aquarius. So you are up next, Aquarius. This new moon for Aquarius, thank you, is in the 11th house. So Sag, new moon, 11th house for my Aquarius. This could be a time, Aquarius, where you are thinking more about your social connections, but it's squaring Saturn and Neptune in your second house. Sorry. So, I wonder if some of you guys will have like different values than other people, different priorities than other people, and I wonder if that could come up if there's like some relationship strains. Yeah. Let's see. Spirit, what is the challenge with the Saturn Neptune in this square in the second house? What's the challenge with Saturn Neptune square in the second? So we have the King of Pentacles in reverse, Eight of Wands. Okay, that's interesting because that came up with the boundaries card in the last with Sag. What's the challenge with this? And then we have the Three of Wands in reverse. And then what's the new beginning for them? We have the King of Wands in reverse, the new beginning. I feel like this should be upright. What's the new beginning for Aquarius? Aquarius stellium, exactly. Different values, relationship confusion. Yeah. Yeah, I could see this being confusing for relationships. I could see this feeling heavy, like feeling maybe disappointing if you're on different pages, if you value different things, if you show up energetically in different ways and really seeing that contrast and being disappointed, like being bummed out by that. I could see that. What's the new beginning for Aquarius? Okay, it's a lot of cards. All right, let's just start with where we're at. So we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, disillusionment. That's really common with Saturn Neptune squares. So we have she who doubts, fear, wariness, and trust. Yeah, you might like not trust certain people. You might be wary of certain people, like, I don't know where they're coming from, right? Like, I don't know what they think of me or where their energy is at. This doesn't have to be just about people, but if it's about a situation, you can apply that to your situation as well. But I'm going to focus on the relationships. So there's some wariness around people here or situation. And with the King of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like there's either this person or the situation could feel like there's not commitment, or you could be afraid to commit to it. Because the King of Pentacles is one of the most stable cards, and it's somebody really showing up in that energy of like, you can rely on me, you can count on me to be there. I will do as I say, and I will show up in integrity. And yeah, like you're saying, be in reciprocity with you. There's a sense of like, I can build something on this foundation. But with Aquarius, you might doubt it, or you might, again, effort issue, values issue. Yeah, you might feel like this person, are they showing up as a stable relationship, or do I even want to invest into the foundation of this? And the Eight of Wands and the Three of Wands in reverse. So, okay, this I think relates to the ruler of this moon Jupiter being in your 6th house and squaring Chiron in the 3rd, because this really feels like this. So 8 of Wands upright, 3 of Wands in reverse. To me, this is somebody who stays really busy, but doesn't like progress. So like Jupiter in the 6th, maybe you are really productive or you have a lot of stuff that you're doing. Maybe you have a lot on your schedule, or you're just, yeah, maybe you're just like accomplishing a lot in a day, or you're staying distracted and busy. But like with the 3 of Wands in reverse, maybe you aren't putting yourself out there. Like you're not saving enough time and attention and energy to allow yourself to focus on growth in a new area or with new people, and you're allowing yourself to like be occupied in other ways, maybe with existing people that you're not sure about, for example, or in other areas of your life. And it's not, and because of that, you don't have like enough space to put towards the development of like totally new types of people or totally new situation. And I think it's actually coming from like maybe a little bit of like trepidation around that adventure or that risk or the unknown of what that would entail, of like, how do I meet somebody new? I don't even know how I would find somebody totally different than this. Like, how would I put myself out there in that way? Or do I want to go to this thing alone? No, I got so much other stuff I got to do. So there's something around this of like, if I stay busy, then I don't have to break new ground in this totally, with totally new relationships or in this other area of my life. I don't have to like go on this journey, I guess. And so this new moon is suggesting that you are meant to be growing in your relationships and getting outside of a comfort zone or like a familiarity or like a rut. Because this Saturn and because this new moon is squaring Saturn Neptune in the 2nd, and the 2nd has a lot to do with like something very stable, something that's consistent, something that's known, something that's always there, or like easy. I don't know. I feel like it could be easy to fall into like, well, I always see these people, so I'm just gonna hang out with them. It's like, well, what if you try something totally different? But you would need to free up energy and space in order to do that. So yeah, I feel like part of this new beginning for you with the King of Wands is coming more into your confidence, because I think that this sense of like leadership and this confidence could help you say no to the situations and things that aren't really matching your energy. And it could also give you confidence to go out and look for the things and people who would be more of a match, who would have the same values, who would show up in the same way. And you feel like really the sense of pride or like just self-worth of like, yeah, I deserve that. I really deserve that. And that Saturn Neptune the 2nd can sometimes make you waffle a bit with it and make you question if like, oh, do I just, yeah, you do. And like, you might not even consciously being like, do I deserve it? But you might just think like, well, is there even better out there? These kind of like vague thoughts that are actually tied maybe with our self-worth potentially. But it's like, is there better out there? And like, yeah, there is better out there, actually. There are people who would match you. There are situations that would match you. Yeah, 10 of Swords. So I think like allowing yourself to just fully cut out the people who, or the people or the practices that are like, that's actually draining my energy. Like I don't feel good after being with them or going on that thing. We also have the Page of Swords in reverse. So it could feel like, oh, times of miscommunication. I don't know. I just feel like it's like giving up on these maybe shallow relationships or relationships that are like, they don't want to understand you. They don't want to meet you halfway. They're not really like showing up in integrity. And it's like giving up on trying to create balance or trying to create peace or trying to create something like reciprocity in a situation that's not there and it's not giving to you. And instead, freeing up your energy to try new things so you can meet new people and having the confidence and the belief that like you deserve that for yourself. So any other last messages for Aquarius on what they're getting from this new moon. What's this new beginning that's coming into their life? I just think that you're going to meet new people. Yeah, the mountain card. This is a journey. The mountain represents something very stable. And we talked about that with the King of Pentacles in reverse. There isn't stability in these relationships. Just because it's known and comfortable and in your life doesn't mean that it's stable. Like, it can be consistent, but not stable, because consistency doesn't imply that it is strong and foundationally sound. It just implies that it is there. um so there's something with this mountain card of like, there's a more stable foundational goal or relationship or types of people that you can be around. And it is going to be a journey to get there, and you might have to overcome some things along the way, but it would be very worth your effort to go out and seek that thing that feels like it is, like, again, very strong and stable, that you want to give to, because it isn't going anywhere and it is going to support the structure of your life, your integrity, your values, what you want out of life. It's going to be this support system rather than something that like energetically just takes from you or adds to like your uncertainty or throws you off balance. Like, no, this is going to be a support system. But again, that takes time and effort to build. And a lot of this new moon, because it's squaring Saturn, is going to indicate that it's going to it's going to require effort, and it's going to require time for all of us to get the results that we're looking for. But we are going to pass life anyway. So we might as well, and pass time anyway. So we might as well like take a chance for the thing that like putting effort into the thing that will benefit us in the long run. Okay, so that's Aquarius. So now let's move on to Pisces. So I'm typing in the chat. Pisces. Okay, Pisces rising and sun. This Sag new moon is taking place in your 10th house of career. So you guys could be coming into, this is a really big one for you guys because it's also squaring Saturn and Neptune in your first house. So there is some new ground that you're meant to be breaking in terms of your goals, like what you want next in life. If you're retired, this could still apply of like how you see this next chapter going for you. I see you needing to break new ground with this. But with Saturn Neptune in the first, I feel like you are kind of beating up against certain constraints around your identity or around your health or around your sense of self right now that you're needing to overcome. Like maybe you at times lack faith in yourself and your ability to accomplish something. Yeah, with the Fool in reverse, I can see you maybe having at times some fear of like this journey ahead or this like new goal or this new chapter. But I think it's kind of because you don't maybe 100% trust your own self to be able to accomplish something like larger. We have the Five of Swords upright. I also wonder, not the Fool, please. Oh my gosh. I also wonder if, because you got the Five of Swords, and I'm pretty sure that this card can represent like winning at all costs. I hope that's not the Five of Wands, but this can be like an argument card. I don't know. I wonder if you are worried about what something will cost you. Like if I go on this journey, if I try to reach for more or start this new chapter, what is it going to cost me? Yeah, Seven of Pentacles. This is like a lot of labor, a lot of toil. It takes a lot of time. Maybe you're looking at like the requirements that something would be like, oh, if I want to, like, let's say, for example, you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s and you're like, I want to go back to school and be a doctor. And that feels really like inspiring to you as a soul. But then you start to look at it and you're like, well, it's going to be 9 years of schooling and I got to go to do this after school. And it's going to be like, it's going to be a lot of money, a lot of time. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I could just see you looking at this and being like, do I have it in me? Can I really accomplish something so big? No way should I do a master's degree at 30 years old. Literally my question. That's exactly, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm referring to. That's crazy that you're going through that. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I feel like you're already being like, oh, I don't know. Is that going to be worth it? Do I have what it takes? Those are two separate questions, and both could be on your mind or either one of them. So yeah, I see that for you if you're like not sure. Um, so any other thing about that message, and then we'll move on to the advice and the new beginning here. So anything else about that message, Spirit? So yeah, she who changes, transformation, change, and enchantment. Yeah, I feel like you guys know it's going to require a lot of changes in your life. It's going to really require you to step up in certain ways, maybe make certain sacrifices, maybe end certain things in order to oh my gosh. Okay, so cool. Yeah, maybe it requires you to end certain things in order to be able to make room for this new beginning. But there's a certain level of like dedication something is going to take, some kind of new beginning. It's going to take a lot of time. And I really see you being like, do I want to make all those changes? Do I have it in me? Can I accomplish it? And there might be some self doubt. So that's where you're starting from with the square to Saturn Neptune. So what is the new beginning with the Sag new moon? Because Sag is all about growth. Sag is all about reaching for more. So you can't just stay where you are. I think that you can't say no to this calling. Let's see what Spirit says. So what is it, Spirit, that my Pisces rising screaming? Yeah, what is it my Pisces risings? What is it that they're getting from this new moon? And what is it that they need to do right now? Like advice. Let's start with advice. We have 3 of Swords. Advice. We have the Ace of Cups in reverse. I'm going to come back to that. Okay. So that's part of your advice. Okay. So what is it that they're getting from this new moon? What is like the blessing, the benefit, this new start for them? What's the new start for them? What's the blessing for my Pisces? Oh my gosh. These cards. Oh, the sun. This is a new career path, guys. This is hope. This is optimism. This is faith. This is excitement. This is seeing a path ahead. You know, sometimes I'm saying this to the Capricorn moon. Sometimes like the whole point is the toil of it. So like being afraid of all the sacrifices and the requirements and the things that it's going to take from you and the change that you have to make to accomplish something, like you might have fear around that, but sometimes like that is kind of the point, like who you become in that process, the things that you gain by committing wholeheartedly towards something that your soul really wants. And it's not even just about like, again, it's not just about getting that thing. It's the journey. And I feel like you're afraid of the journey, but like, I think that Spirit wants you to know, like, literally the journey is the best part. Even when it's hard, it is still the best part because it teaches you so much, because you gain so much from it. And when you do hard things, you grow in confidence, you grow in your sense of self. And we're about to have, I'm getting like full body chills right now. Wow, Pisces. I feel super connected to you right now. But we are going through this last push of Saturn in your sign before it moves into Aries in February. And Saturn in your first house is all about creating this next level you. And it is about discipline. It is about leveling up. It is about sacrifice. It is around maturation. It is about moving towards things that are higher goals that, again, just require you to level up. And this is your last push. These are the last few months for you to really be challenged by this. And then I think it's going to be more so the application, not that you're going to like not do it, but I think you need to make some big important decision right now. And you're at a crossroads, especially with Mercury squaring the nodes. You're at some kind of crossroads of a decision where you need to decide, Am I going to make this last push and try that long-term thing, or am I just going to stay here? And it's like, do it. Do the thing that is going to require a lot of you. And then once we get to that late February time, you're going to be in this kind of flow with Saturn and Aries. You're going to be in this place of like having momentum, and it's not going to feel as like, should I, shouldn't I, and am I on the right, like, it's not going to be as much of that like questioning. It's going to be just the execution of it. um and I really see that with the sun card. You're going to get into this place of optimism and hope. And I see you like focused on this vision and being fucking stoked about this thing that you're moving towards. And yeah, I see you getting really, really motivated. I think it may come over time with this effort. You already knew you would. Exactly. You already knew. So I see you like, yeah, I see you just like really like, there's something called success spirals. Like, you know how you can spiral in a negative way, but you can spiral in a positive way where you start to gain momentum and you start to believe in yourself, and you make one discipline choice and it leads to another and then another, and it leads to this like acceleration in elevation, in evolution, in progress. And I see you guys doing that. So something really, really major is happening for you. You need to commit to it. You need to believe in it. And with the Three of Swords and the Ace of Cups in reverse, I think you also like need to process, like, this is your advice, but I think you need to process like some emotions around this. So like maybe there's a couple things. Like it could bring up like past fears or emotions or pains where maybe you've tried something and it like didn't work out that well, and maybe you're like having to, in this new beginning, having to contend with the feelings of the past. Like let's say this is like a new relationship or a new job or a new career, and you're like, well, look how that past one turned out. And I don't know, like you could kind of carry that forward and maybe you need to release it. So that's one of the messages for you guys for advice. Another is that um what was the other one? I just lost it. Oh gosh. Well, maybe that was the message then, because it just disappeared out of my mind. But yeah, there's something here with the Three of Swords of like, I just feel like you guys need to cry. I really get that with this Ace of Cups in reverse and the Three of Swords. I just feel like you guys really need to like let it all out, like emotional catharsis. Cry your eyes out, let like release all of this like pent up energy. I just feel like there's an emotional energy like brewing within you, and maybe it's like all of the fears and the losses and the things that you've already experienced and the heartbreak. And if I oh this is the message, if I do make this change, maybe I have to leave this thing behind that I really like, or maybe I have to sacrifice certain things, and that stirs emotions within me. Like maybe if I move, I'm leaving my family, and yeah, that's gonna make me really sad. But like that's relevant. Don't, not to dismiss that at all. I think that's valid, right? That's life. That's part of the situation. And to feel those feelings fully is beautiful. But that shouldn't stop you. These big emotions shouldn't stop you. It shouldn't be your sign to not do something. It's just part of this energy right now of like of releasing, because I think you're going to come onto this new path and be reinvigorated. But these last few months of Saturn and Pisces, you might just have to like grieve or emotionally process what has happened these last 2.5 years, and maybe even before that. Um, so beautiful, beautiful new beginning. So Layla said, Pisces rising, laying the foundation for all new to me, wondering it will, wondering how it will look and how much time and money I have to invest. Yeah, and I think that there's only one way to find out with the Fool in reverse. This is somebody that's like, there's only one way to find out, and that's just jumping right in there, right? You just gotta, the only way to find out is through doing. Layla says, of course I can't say no to this calling. It appears that I've burned every bridge behind me, and the universe will do that, right? It'll force your hand. The universe has closed those doors to where I can't run backwards, even if I tried. Yeah, that's exactly what I was just thinking. I had a big cathartic cry 2 days ago over how much my education has brought me so much so far, how transformative it's been, how grateful I am for all I've learned so far. Oh, I love that. You guys. I just feel so connected to you guys right now. I feel, yeah. I just want to say I love you guys. I really, really do. And I wish you all the best on this journey. A few more cards. What is this new beginning for Pisces? What's on the other side of them when they embrace this next chapter? What's on the other side? So we have the 10 of Pentacles. Okay, the Sun and 10 of Pentacles, guys, I could not have picked better cards. These are like the most optimistic and stable cards. The thing is, once you go to this new beginning, this is something that has roots. Like the thing that you're moving towards is not just this like flash in the pan. It's not just this like thing you want to do on a whim or this like, oh, I just had this like feeling. So I like did it. And it's like, whatever. No, this is something, if you're having a gut feeling, it's because this is something that is stable, that is going to be a long next chapter, that is going to build the foundation of your life in a very significant way. It could lead you towards some kind of financial prosperity, towards meeting a very important group of people that become your friend group, your support system. It could lead you to a potential family in the long term, to some kind of major career developments. This is a new moon in the 10th. So it's largely going to be centered around career, your legacy, the legacy that you're meant to lead. That is what this Sag new moon is bringing in for you. And it is a long journey, but it is developing all along the way. It's not like you're not going to see any like beautiful breakthroughs till the end. No, it's going to be developing you and the situation each step of the way. And you're going to be stepping further and further into your calling. You're going to feel more optimistic. You're going to have more insight, more excitement, more leadership, more visibility, more impact each step of the way that you take. So it's really, really encouraging you to not think about the cost, but to think about the gain and to think about also what you can give people. As a Pisces, part of your life is like you are meant to be healers, helpers, guides. You're meant to give back through your energy. And this in particular is how you are meant to do that right now. You're having some massive thing click into place around your purpose. And so I really, really hope that you embrace the newness of this, that you embrace the long journey ahead. You have so much to gain. You will have some things to not lose, but to be sacrificed for it. But it will be something that you on your deathbed do not regret at all. You won't regret the time. You won't regret the money. You won't regret the sacrifice. You won't regret the distance, because you will see the legacy that you've left into the world, and you will know that you did what you came here to do. Amazing. Oh my God. I feel like so thrilled after that message for you guys. So that's all of the signs. Now, it was almost 3 hours. Predictable. I just can't shut the F up. I swear to God. Any last comments or questions for me, you guys, that you want to say about this new moon that you're experiencing? I'm thrilled for you guys too. Or any other things that you want to ask about before we sign off? Questions, comments, concerns? I love you guys. Yeah, I love you too. It's so amazing because, not everybody, but I know a lot of you here. So it's so cool. It's always great to watch your videos. It's nice to get to write to you and react in the moment. I know I think I want to do. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much. Let me know what you guys think if you would like to have this set up in the future. Technical difficulty was a blessing. Yeah, I think it was too. I know, that's what I was thinking last night. And this is so serendipitous, which is very Sag new moon, especially quincunxing Uranus, which brings like unexpected events. But it's going to spur like a sense of creativity in us to have something like jolt us out of a pattern. And so what I was thinking is like, what if I did this in the future of making the overview of the video, recording it, putting it on YouTube a few days in advance, and then doing a live for each sign where you can ask questions. So it's like you have some time to kind of process the overarching energies and then come to the reading and maybe ask like live. Drop in the chat if you think that's a good idea, a horrible idea. I would love that. This one has been great. Okay. Okay, cool. Yes, I think this is cool too. If I could choose one, tarot or astrology, which would you choose? Astrology, for sure, astrology. Yeah, I mean, my first love is astrology. Actually, I did start off with tarot, but it's just easier. Astrology is